All right, I am here talking with our friend Luke from BigTree Tech. How are you doing?
I am a little bit tired, but really good otherwise. It has been a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Good to speak to peeps like you.
Thanks. Yeah, we love all the products that we sell from BigTree Tech. Let's take a look at what you've got on display here.
All right, so let's kick it off here with the VVD. This is one of the first prototypes that we have out that's actually using final molds, final sort of internal hardware. It's still under dev in terms of firmware, and as we ship stuff out and run tests on it, we're hardening the molds up. So we're probably looking at about 3 months before this lands, but it's going really, really well. We're happy with it right now. Yeah, so I mean, VVD, there's been a couple of discussions about it since we announced it at Formnext in November. So I guess people are fairly familiar with what it can do. But yeah, just to summarize it, 4-unit multicolor feeding with an external buffer, which is at the back here. I guess if you get around there, you'll be able to see it. So there's your buffer. You got the 4 outputs going directly to the buffer, 1 output from the buffer feeding the tool head. Okay. It has an integrated heater, ceramic protection on all the ports. Let's pop that open. We can show you. So there you go.
Okay.
And yeah, ultimately we're aiming for long-term direct clipper integration, short-term as a clipper plugin.
Okay.
So that you just install the plugin and you're good to go. You set up the config, good to go. And hopefully, you get Filometrics on your machine. So you've got a cutter system, not essential, but we do recommend a cutter. It's far more reliable. Plug this in, install the plugin, set up your config. Yep. Happy multicolor printing.
Yeah, you can see we've got the cutter installed on that tool head.
Yeah. So we're looking at 2 versions. One will be without the heater and the RFID. The other will be with the heater, dry, and RFID. Pricing, probably looking at about $249, $299 for each.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a little vent on it as well. You just twist and it pops open, so it expels that moist air as it's pulling the moisture out of the filament. And when you're done, nice seal on it, and you just pop it shut.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a great little machine at a great price. That should be landing soon. We're excited about it.
Okay. We'll look forward to getting those.
Something I want to mention as well, which I'm sure you guys are going to be interested in, is this, which is a nice collab project with Ajax. So this is the TD1S, which is the successor to the TD1 that Ajax is doing. So miniaturized, he's done a ton of magic with the firmware. So color sensing is really far more accurate than it was with the initial release of the TD1, although I believe the firmware updates will be pushed to the TD1 as well, so that's really great for existing buyers.
Excellent.
And yeah, we worked a ton on the hardware to make sure that TD values are accurate all the way from sort of very opaque filaments to non-opaque filaments, because the hardware actually plays a huge role in the accuracy of the sensing. You can sort of like tap it and a minor offset might result in values shifting. So that there were tons of iterations of this to get it right, but we're happy that it's right now. So that's actually on pre-sale right now. Great little product for those that do HueForge. And really pleasure to work with Ajax on getting that out the door. It's been
he is fantastic. Yeah, and I know something like this will be very good because we currently are selling the DIY kits, which for a lot of customers are great. And there are a lot of customers that are not comfortable or familiar with soldering. So having
that's it now. Yeah, you buy this, you put the filament in one end and pop it out the other. You get your values, and that's sent automatically through to HueForge. And some work is being done to integrate it with mainsail, and through sort of Moonraker Orca Slicer, so that you could pop it into a multi-material unit, run it after the merge from N to 1, and be able to send the filaments through, sample them, and automatically have accurate color of what you've loaded. So no RFID needed. You just pop one of these and then you're good to go. So yeah, that's that. I mean, yeah, we're pretty confident we'll get that right, and that should be out soon. So that's TD1. Let's have a look at some of the cool new electronics and extrusion systems that we got. This is It's this humble little board sitting over here, but it is the result of almost a year and a half of tremendous effort in design work. And I think if you look at the back of that and you compare it to the previous gen, you'll see just how densely populated that board is. So this is the EBB42 1.2. Great board, very cost-effective CAN bus. Now this is the EBB36 Gen 2. So let's just look at a couple of the features that are going on over here. This is your input port, and we could call that your output data port. A single jumper changes both your input and your output between CAN and USB. And one of the targets that we set when designing it is that we wanted to be able to achieve reliable communication over a length of 2.5 meters for USB. And we wanted to be able to stream 1080p at 30 frames per second through the USB link back to whatever it is, the SBC on the other receiving side, at up to 75 degrees chamber temperature. So those were sort of the data transmission requirements, but then we also set very strict electronic hardness requirements. So we wanted to be able to, not that users should be doing it, but sometimes things happen. If a user by mistake shorted one of the data lines to 24 volts, USB high or low, it shouldn't destroy the product. The product should just be able to take that, bat it off, and carry on living. CAN bus is okay with that because it was an industrial protocol designed for automotive and industrial communication applications, and those transceivers can naturally handle that. But USB was designed, to connect low voltage peripherals to computers, so it really wasn't designed for that. And we found these were conflicting requirements: high data rate and yet very hardened protection. And as soon as we got one right, the other would start failing. And it took us so long to get it right, where we had hardened it and we could achieve high data rate reliably over reasonably long distances at high temperatures. And man, we are really happy where this is right now. So EBB36 Gen 2, we've got tacho on the hot end fan as well, so you can get feedback on whether that's still spinning. Super important. We've got independent voltage control on each one of the fans, so you can select between 5 and 24 volts for each fan. It's really, really, really feature dense in an absolutely tiny package. There is a 42 version of it coming too. We just brought the 36 here. This is probably one of 20 that exists right now. We just actually, after a year and a half, got the design right 2.5 weeks ago. And have a look at the adapter board. There's some unique stuff going on here as well. You'll notice sort of two fuses, which is fairly unique. Like I say, part of the objective with this design was completely harden it against things that shouldn't happen but sometimes do. And so there's a fuse on the ground and on the 24 volt wire, because if you swap them around by mistake, then what would happen is you create a path from 24 volt to ground through the USB if that's plugged in. And now we get to protect against that too, instead of just protecting on the high side. So lots of consideration gone into protection on this. And a lot of the component density on the back here is also to act as protection. So your R2C port is protected, your RGB output is protected. In fact, there's only one pin that we left unprotected per se, and that was intentionally for users who specifically want a pin that has direct access to the MCU without anything in between. And that will be highlighted in the manual. But otherwise, everything is super hardened, super protected, and it can operate. It's running a STM32, operate up to 75 degrees chamber temp. There's heat sinks that go on your MCU, on your TMC, and on your USB hub. Really excited about that board.
Question about the breakout board, because I do see the USB input on that. So this isn't acting as a USB to CAN adapter, is it?
It is not acting as a USB to CAN. No, all the comms are still happening over USB. So you'd take your power in and your USB in, and this would basically just translate that into a 24 volt port that plugs in over there into that Molex microfit. You just plug that in and then straight in over here, and that's either your USB comms or your CAN. And the reason why we have this over here is If you do want to use CAN,
So you inject your CAN on there.
you inject your CAN over there, and then you still just feed it out over there using exactly the same cable. So you would just do a little hop from your motherboard or from whatever devices you're
I just wanted to confirm, since the data transmission is selectable between USB and CAN, that this wasn't replacing something like UTC.
No, it is. If you select USB, it is genuinely USB, simply because you can't transmit that sort of data throughput on CAN. That would support something, an application like a video camera.
Right.
So yeah, no, it is USB and it is CAN. It's just this one adapter board will do both. And then on the adapter board, there is no need to do any jumper settings. The only jumper setting that you need to swap is a single jumper on the toolboard itself, and then it changes between the two. Yeah. So you pop CAN in there, and that single output, or if you want USB in there, again, single output, and you're good to go.
Lovely.
Yeah, that is, it's the accumulation of a ton of iterations and a ton of effort, and we're really happy where it's at. We managed to finally reach conflicting targets, and that was, it took a lot of effort to get there. So great little toolboard, we're excited for that. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's chat a little bit about the Eco Turbo kit. So we got the standard, medical grade CPAP. It's an expensive part because it's a medical grade part. Nice high static pressure, nice flow. And then this is the little Robo-Rock version. So you kind of got like a robot vacuum blower over here. And that doesn't achieve as high a static pressure and flow rate, but it comes in basically like 50% of the cost. And we designed a custom PCB to go on it that allows you to just do a standard PWM and power input, and that's it. That's your blower, and it actually keeps the control circuit cool using another smaller external fan. So that is obviously not what is providing the airflow. This is providing the airflow.
Right.
This is to cool the actual blower itself. So really cost-effective, high flow rate blower fan that removes that extra weight from your tool head and allows you to go with remote blowing. Nice little product, the Eco Turbo kit.
And we sold a ton of the turbo kits, so
and the nice thing about this is that little adapter board. When you drive a CPAP controller board using a PWM output directly, you're actually not getting 100% efficiency. You're only getting about 80%. If you shoot it through this guy, you get that full 100%. Olivier from Hevort did a wonderful set of testing. I don't know if he's released it in a video yet, but we've got the data that he produced, and he was able to show much higher static pressure and flow passing it through that adapter board. So and that allows you to just interface to sort of any standard fan output on any motherboard. Great little product. And we got the little Nebula over here. So this is a great little extruder. Also been in development. We started this off when we were sitting in an Airbnb for Smurf 2023, and we one of the structural engineers was with us at that time, and we started working on this. It's taken us that long to get it out because we refined it, and here we are. Nice, very cost-effective extruder. I'm not sure if we've announced the price yet, but it will be very cost-effective. Large planetary gears, so you can see them going on over there. RGB, for a little bit of personal flair and effect. Tensioner system, macro button, filament sensor, and RGB interface over there. It's really a full-featured, lightweight. I think we're coming in at 142 grams. It's got 6 kilos, I believe, of pushing force at 142 grams. So good performance, good value.
Excellent.
And that is Nebula. Yeah, we're excited to get that out. We don't have one because it looks as if they've been liberated from our booth. But let's give Eddy an honorable mention. Eddy now has a new piece of software. So it's not the hardware that's changed, it's software that just a brilliant guy by the name of Vladimir, he has his own wiki page, let's put it that way. He's a smart guy. He wrote something called Eddy NG that gives you full tap functionality, which basically means that temperature is no longer a variant with the Eddy. You get rough measurements at first, and then just before you're about to start printing and you do your scan, you do a quick tap, which defines at the given operating temperature, what your Z equals 0 point is. And then all your other measurements can be offset against that.
Right.
So there's no thermal compensation needed anymore. And what does that mean? It means that you can use something like the Eddy coil, which doesn't have a built-in thermistor, and still get as accurate results as you would with Eddy Duo or Eddy USB. So you can get full eddy current scanning with great first layers every single time using that tap functionality for like, I think the Eddy coil is like 16 or 18 bucks. Like it's great product. So honorable mention, firmware update. Anyone who already owns a product can use that. We're going to be doing a big write-up about it when I get home, and we'll release that. So the walkthrough is really simple for everyone.
Okay.
Super cool thing there.
Yes, and that's where they would be.
That is where the Eddy would be. I'm sure everyone knows what they look like, though.
Yeah.
Build plates, what do we got going on here? Well, aside from a really awesome display rack over here, our carousel, H2D. We got the H2D Glacier plate, which is nice and fresh out the oven.
Okay.
We have got the H2D PER, which we have embedded the markings for which nozzle can reach where.
Nice.
Pretty neat little feature on that. Maybe sometimes people want to put something down on the bed, but they want to know exactly which area to put it down on.
Right.
There'll be another one coming at a later point as well. It actually has a beautiful grid pattern that matches that within Bamboo Studio, so that people can actually locate the actual physical location where something will be printed. So yeah, some cool things coming on that front. Also the frostbite version of the same plate. And I mean, if you can see here, we've just got plates for a whole range. Voron, K2 Plus, we've got Cobra, we've got Prusa Mark IV and Core 1. So yeah, the minis, you name it. Yeah. Huge plate range.
And then it looks like we've got some carbon fibers, some
so we've got some PEO and PET plates, all, variety of textures that we're working with. Houndstooth, if you're into that, you're fashionista and you want to get that texture.
Yeah, if you're printing something to go with your Burberry.
There you go, exactly. Yeah, so, and we're constantly expanding on this range.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem is that our production facilities actually can't keep up. And so people are like, can you do this for my printer? Like, we can, but we just can't make it at the moment. So give us a second and we'll be there. Great product range. They work fantastic.
Yeah, we've been selling a lot of the cryo plates.
Yeah. Cool, so let's have a look at what we're working with here. This is sort of one of probably 3 that exist. And it's just a personalization mod for a P1S or an X1C, right? So this gives you that same little progress indicator that the H2D has going on. Mm-hmm. And it's personalizable. You can actually make it display progress or kind of whatever pattern you want. Mm-hmm. But yeah, little RGB bar for the front of your P1S and X1C. Fun little thing to work on. There's just a sort of a low temp plate. We're printing 35, 34. So that's obviously the Panda Touch, which everyone kind of knows about. That's printing at 35 bed temp. And you can see on the Panda Touch, we've got the Panda Sense installed, so we know what the chamber temp and humidity is. Mm-hmm. And that's Panda Touch, Panda Sense, Frostbite, and our coming little LED bar. This is pretty cool. A lot of interest in this. This is the Panda Perch. And one of the cool things about it is it's really cost effective, and it comes with the ability to mount 2 AMS on top. So you don't have to pop one on top and then figure out where you're going to pop the other one. They're just both there. Very, very convenient and neat. And you don't have to break the bank to get it out. Very cheap. We've also got inside here pure quality of life. But so cost effective as well and easy to install. What I was doing in the past is I was printing guards and then popping a bit of PTFE in there. And every now and then I'd have to replace the PTFE because it gets eaten away at.
Right.
You just pop these things on and you're pretty much sorted because these are ceramic protectors here. And as you can clearly see, once they're on, they on
do
quite
not
well.
want to come off.
No, he will come off. I haven't got the knack of it yet. It takes a little bit of massaging and then they just pop right off there. But there you go. And it's nice ceramic input port protection. Mm-hmm. I think they're like $10 for 4, so it's really not much at all. You just slide it on, clip it down, and now you've got protection, and you're not going to have to replace anything. That's for life. So yeah, the AMS guard, another quality of life improvement. These look like simple little wires, and that's really all they are. However, when your AMS gets a piece of broken filament stuck in one of the 4 PTFE tubes underneath, you've got to remove the 2 screws at the back. They're in there. Flip it up. And every time I used to flip that up, I would pull those 2 cables that connected to that little back PCB up. And I would struggle with my fat fingers trying to get them back in. And so literally these are just extension wires to prevent that from happening. Super quality of life, nice and cheap, but a really great little tweak to put in there to solve that problem, because it is something that happens. So let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, this is the Panda breath, and this is a chamber heater that will go inside over here.
Okay.
And give your X1C or your P1S the same heating ability that an X1E has. And it's got integrated Wi-Fi control so that you can control it remotely, or if you want, you can control it locally from the buttons here. A ton of protection to make sure that it is safe when it is operating.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're looking at a couple months until that drops. That is going to be a really neat little product as well. And this also is kind of like this actually came from people who run multiple machines, and they want to be able to tell the state of the machine at a glance. So what this would do is it would mount over here, and this connects to the machine wirelessly. Communication wirelessly. Of course, it does need some power going to it. But basically, it's just going to light up and let you know, is the machine good? Is the print ongoing? Or is there a problem? Red if there is. So you can just glance in at the room and tell, okay, things are good, and carry on.
Right.
So that's the Panda alarm is the name for it. Yeah. So that is the Panda series, at least for the P and X and H2D series. Is there anything else here that you are not familiar with that?
Ooh, I see so much stuff that we have at the shop, because we've got the jet packs and the claws. And
I mean, we've got the Purge Shield, which is a new little thing. This is a sort of a nanopolymer coated sheet of metal that you basically stick in the back of the chute, and it just prevents filament from sticking to the chute, so that when it purges, it just ejects down the chute.
Right.
Because sometimes when it sits there for a while, before the tool head goes back and opens up the flap and releases it, it creates a temporary bond with the plastic in the chute, and that then creates a bit of a build-up and an overflow. So this just prevents that. It won't bond to this, it'll just eject out the chute.
Fantastic.
Small quality of life improvement. Little wiper as well. So that just, you pop out the existing PTFE and you pop that in, and now you get that sort of same silicon brush wiping effect. So it just wipes any excess off the nozzle. Again, small, nice quality of life improvement. The classics like the Panda Lux, I mean, I'm sure people know about that already, but that is why we actually have light in this chamber and are able to see what's going on. Simple 5-minute install. Panda extruder. So that allows you easy access to the extruder and just blow junk and dirt out of there instead of having to take the whole thing out and clean it out. I use that on all my machines. It's, again, quality of life improvement. Panda Flow, so that's coming soon. So that's a V6 nozzle capable drop-in, very cost-effective replacement for the bamboo hot end. So that
opens up an entire new ecosystem of nozzle choices.
You want to pop CHT in there, or any of your old V6s, you just do that.
Or a nice tungsten carbide undertaker from West3D.
Or a nice one of those, And then this is like the super bling Revo Diamondback that's coming, which is just over the top intentionally. It comes with a little embedded, what's the exact name for it? It's got a very high Mohs hardness, but it's not quite diamond. So it comes with that embedded, and of course we've got the Diamondback nozzle on there, and that will be launching soon. And just because we thought, why not, we also added a little ring that you can unscrew the diamond and put into a ring, which is basically, when your wife sees the bill on the credit card statement, you get to give her this, and hopefully it takes the edge off it. Speaking of edge, we've got the Panda Edge, which is it's just a bougie scraper, right? Like it's fun, but once you use it, you're not going to reach for the plastic one anymore. It's really fun. So it's a scraper, but it's beautiful CNC scraper,
Yeah.
nice and weighty, great to use, cool little experience. That's our Panda range.
Well,
what else? What else have we got going on?
Well, I mean, we're at the end of the booth. So
We are. We didn't touch too much on what's going on this side. Let's just be sure that we didn't miss anything on the A1 series range. So, the Panda Nomi, right? Like,
yeah.
that's been released. There's some cool new firmware updates that are coming for that will. Yeah, I mean, every time we release a product, we're like, yeah, we're pretty sure we've nailed the firmware and we've got all the features that people could want. And then people are really innovative. They come up with cool stuff. So we've got a list of things that we're busy working on now. So yeah, some great new firmware coming out for that soon based on what people have submitted. And let this be an appeal to people. Please, if you want to see new stuff, go onto the GitHub, submit your feature requests. That's how the product managers look at what people are wanting and they integrate it into the development pipeline and let us know. Let us know what you want to see, guys. We'll take that into consideration. Yeah. And then this is the Panda Breeze. So that is a crossflow fan for the A1 to kind of give you that same crossflow that you've got on the P and the X and the series, just that little bit of extra cooling. And it comes with an integrated Panda Lux as well. So it's kind of a two-in-one product.
Nice.
That'll be dropping like 2 weeks from now. It's been in dev for a long, long time to get it right. So that is now ready. So yeah, Panda Breeze is pretty cool as well. And I think that finally covers it. I hope it does because I'm running out of breath.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through everything. We love selling the BigTree Tech and BQ products. They're great, well-designed products that people love putting in their printers. So I'm looking forward to seeing new stuff come out. And I have at least one machine that will be getting an EBB36 upgrade.
I am very glad to hear that because that has been a personal project for a long time, many very late nights, and we are very, very excited to get that out into the wild. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks again for talking.
Thanks so much for coming by.